Imagine a place where rivers run in shades of the rainbow, but not by magic. Where streets are a maze of intense colors and smells. Where millions of people fight daily for survival amidst urban chaos. Welcome to Bangladesh, a nation burdened with the label of the poorest and dirtiest country in the world. But is this story really that simple? Located in the heart of South Asia, Bangladesh is a land of shocking contrasts and intriguing mysteries. With a population of over 165 million squeezed into an area smaller than the state of Sao Paulo, this demographic giant holds secrets that challenge our understanding of the modern world. Let's dive into the depths of this enigma called Bangladesh. Waters that tell stories. The rivers of Bangladesh are like pulsing veins that traverse the country, carrying not just water, but ancient stories. The Ganges, Brahmaputra, and Meghna, three aquatic titans that meet here, forming the largest delta in the world. But what should be a source of life has become a mirror of the country's struggle. Did you know that these rivers change color like an aquatic chameleon at certain times of the year? Red, blue, green, colors that do not come from nature, but from rampant pollution. Textile factories dump their waste directly into the waters, creating a toxic rainbow that slowly poisons the land and its people. But why does this happen? The answer is intertwined in the complex web of the global economy and Bangladesh's desperate fight for development. Fashion that kills. Bangladesh is the world's second largest exporter of clothing, behind only China. Its factories produce garments for the biggest fashion brands on the planet. But at what cost? Imagine concrete buildings without windows where thousands of workers, mostly women, spend endless hours sewing what we wear. The salary? Less than $100 a month. The conditions? Often inhumane. In 2013, the world watched in horror as the Rana Plaza, a building housing several garment factories, collapsed. Over 1,100 people died that day. It was a brutal wake-up call to the hidden reality behind our clothing labels. But the story doesn't end there. The tragedy exposed the guts of an industry that, paradoxically, keeps Bangladesh afloat while also threatening to sink it further into poverty and environmental degradation. Cities that swallow people. Dhaka, the capital of Bangladesh, is an urban monster that grows daily. With over 21 million inhabitants in its metropolitan area, it is one of the most densely populated cities on the planet. But what does it mean to live in a megacity that seems to have no limits? The streets of Dhaka are a spectacle of colors, sounds, and trash. Mountains of waste pile up on street corners, creating an apocalyptic scene. The overburdened and underfunded waste management system cannot keep pace with the frenetic urban growth. But amidst the chaos, there is life. Children play among the piles of garbage, scavengers seek their livelihood in the debris, and an informal economy flourishes in the shadows of improvised skyscrapers. People who defy statistics. Despite all the adversities, the Bengali people are known for their resilience and creativity. With a per capita GDP of just $1,500, Bangladesh is indeed one of the poorest countries in the world. But statistics don't tell the whole story. Did you know that Bangladesh has one of the highest economic growth rates in Asia? In recent years, the country has grown at an average rate of 6% per year, surpassing many of its wealthier neighbors. And even more surprising, Bangladesh has a higher life expectancy and a lower infant mortality rate than India, despite having half the per capita GDP of its giant neighbor. How is this possible? The answer lies in a complex network of social programs, many led by innovative NGOs. The Grameen Bank, for example, a pioneer in microcredit, has helped millions of Bengalis, especially women, escape extreme poverty. The land that disappears. But perhaps the greatest challenge Bangladesh faces is invisible to the eye. The country is considered one of the most vulnerable to climate change in the world. With much of its territory less than 10 meters above sea level, rising oceans threaten to engulf vast coastal areas in the coming decades. Even today, saltwater intrusion is rendering fertile lands unproductive, forcing entire communities to relocate. It is estimated that by 2050, 20 million Bengalis could become climate refugees. But once again, the people of Bangladesh show their resilience. Farmers are developing salt-tolerant rice varieties. Coastal communities are creating floating schools that can move with the rising waters. Secrets hidden in the forests. Not everything in Bangladesh is gray and concrete. The country is home to one of the largest mangrove forests in the world, the Sundarbans. This aquatic labyrinth of islands and channels is the last refuge of the Bengal tiger, one of the most endangered tiger species on the planet. But the Sundarbans hold more than just wildlife. They are the first line of defense against the cyclones and storms that regularly batter the country. The tangled roots of the mangroves form a natural barrier that protects millions of Bengalis from the furies of the Indian Ocean. However, this natural fortress is under threat. Illegal logging, pollution, and rising sea levels are slowly eroding this ecological treasure. The loss of the Sundarbans would not only be an environmental tragedy, but could seal Bangladesh's fate as a nation. The silent revolution, but not all is lost. In recent decades, Bangladesh has been the stage for a silent revolution that is transforming the country from within. The literacy rate, for example, has jumped from 35% in 1991 to over 75% today. The country has achieved gender parity in primary and secondary education, a remarkable feat for a conservative Muslim nation. Infant mortality has drastically fallen from 149 per 1,000 live births in 1990 to less than 30 today. And life expectancy has increased from 58 years in 1990 to 72 years currently. How was this possible in such a poor country? The answer lies in a unique combination of social innovation, female participation, and creative partnerships between government, NGOs, and the private sector. Women who move mountains. One of the secrets of Bangladesh's progress lies in female empowerment. The country has a female prime minister, Sheikh Hasina, who has been in power for over a decade. But the female revolution goes far beyond politics. Millions of Bengali women work in the textile industry, earning their own money for the first time in history. Although working conditions are often precarious, this employment has given women unprecedented economic independence. Microcredit, mentioned earlier, has been particularly effective when targeted at women. Studies show that women are more likely to invest their earnings in children's education and improving family living conditions. This profound social change is slowly transforming Bengali society, challenging centuries-old patriarchal norms and creating new opportunities for future generations. Technology that transforms lives. Despite widespread poverty, Bangladesh is experiencing a surprising digital revolution. The country has over 165 million mobile phone subscribers, practically the entire population. This connectivity is opening new doors. Farmers use their phones to check market prices and weather conditions. Women in rural areas access health services by phone. Students in remote villages participate in online classes. A notable example is the Bakash program, a mobile payment system that has transformed the country's informal economy. Today, millions of Bengalis use their phones to transfer money, pay bills, and shop, even without a traditional bank account. An uncertain future. So, after all, is Bangladesh really the poorest and dirtiest country in the world? The answer, as we have seen, is much more complex than a simple yes or no. It is undeniable that the country faces monumental challenges. Poverty is still widespread, pollution is a serious problem, and climate change poses an existential threat. But Bangladesh is also a nation of paradoxes and surprises. It is a country that, against all odds, is making remarkable progress in crucial areas such as education, health, and female empowerment. It is a land where innovation flourishes amid adversity, where creative solutions emerge from the most unlikely corners, and where resilient people refuse to be defined solely by their hardships. The future of Bangladesh remains uncertain. The country is in a race against time, struggling to develop before climate change makes much of its territory uninhabitable. Will Bangladesh be able to overcome its challenges and emerge as a model of sustainable development for the developing world? Or will it succumb to the weight of its problems, becoming a tragic symbol of the dangers the planet faces? The answer to these questions is still being written in the bustling streets of Dhaka, in the rice fields of the floodplains, in the textile factories, and in the improvised classrooms across the country. One thing is certain, the story of Bangladesh is one that the world cannot afford to ignore. It is a microcosm of the challenges humanity faces in the 21st century: poverty, overpopulation, climate change, globalization, and of the innovative solutions emerging to tackle them. As the sun sets over Bangladesh's polluted rivers and overcrowded cities, one question remains: is this really the poorest and dirtiest country in the world, or is it a living laboratory where the future of humanity is being forged? The answer, dear viewer, is up to you to decide. But one thing is certain, the story of Bangladesh is far from over, and the next chapter promises to be even more fascinating. If you want to continue exploring the mysteries and paradoxes of this extraordinary country, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We have many more surprising stories to tell about Bangladesh and other intriguing corners of our planet. See you next time.